Hi, TheSuffolkRam from Ram Rant. Welcome to another of my Ram Rants. So, about a week ago, Final Fantasy 17 got released, and I love Final Fantasy 17. I love the way it works. It's just a game that really appeals to me. There's something I don't like about it. I don't think it could be. I think the trucks could be more realistic, but overall, it's a good game. But what I want to talk to you about is my rig, the rig I use when I'm playing the game, specifically my steering wheel and joystick rig that I've set up. Now, I use two main peripherals for this game, if you don't count the keyboard and mouse, which I use there for the on-foot stuff, because that's WASD and I'm used to using WASD. I have a Logitech G27 steering wheel. This consists of three parts. We've got the steering wheel, a shifter, and what you can't see at my feet is a set of pedals. I want to start by talking about the actual G27 steering wheel itself. Why I like steering wheel? For starters, it's not overly complicated facial buttons. We've got just 6 on the front, here, 3 here, and 3 here. We have 2 paddle shifters, right? And also, what's really nice, it's got a large lock to lock. So you can almost, when you're using it to steer things, you've got a real great degree of freedom when it comes to moving. You feel like you can turn them, it feels really well mapped to when you're actually using the vehicle in game. Really nice degrees of freedom. So I really like that. I know it's not quite the Tech 10, but that's what I like. We then have the shifter. So the shifter consists of a 6-way gearbox lever. So they've got a shifter, I call it a gearbox, gear stick. Also has a nice reverse function as well. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buttons on the actual unit itself, plus a point and fuse switch. It's very nice. Really good, really like that bit. Finally, we have the pedals themselves. So we have 3 pedals. We have an accelerator, a clutch, and I'll just move something got full. An accelerator, a brake, and a clutch. I do know how to drive a car, believe it or not. What's also nice, they're sprung very differently, so the accelerator is really nice and loose, and the clutch and the brake, and I've got them wrong again as well, feel nice responsive, and they've got a nice swing, so they feel like really are pushing onto a piece of machinery. Really love that, really think that's great. So now I want to talk about the joystick. The joystick is a Saitek Cyborg Evo. So the joystick has several degrees of freedom. We've got forward and backwards joystick, and left and right, plus a twist. We also have a nice hat control on the top there. Yes, I know it's a bit dusty joystick as well. And plenty of buttons. You trigger button, plus 6 buttons on the top, another 3 on each side, and a nice accelerator switch as well. So quite a lot of controls in there, which is pretty much more enough that I usually need. Believe it or not though, it's not enough for Farming Simulator. You need dozens of buttons for this game. You usually use most of a keyboard when you're playing this game. It's incredible how many buttons you need for it. Now, telehandler is like a forklift, but the actual has like an arm that can extend outwards. In the case of the game, I use a Manitou telehandler, and I wanted to mirror and replicate how they operate. So this is a 2-step process. First of all, I found the actual manual for the telehandler I bought in games, and I bought a Manitou telehandler, an MLT840, I think that's the right name for it. That's what I bought, and I found the manual for it. And the manual gives you instructions on how it works. And it's pretty straightforward. Joystick forward and backwards. Forward is down, and lifts the arm down. Lowers the arm down, I should say. Backwards lifts up. The pushing it to the left raises what we call if you want to call the tines or the carriage, whatever you're using. I tend to use the term carriage. Up, and pushing it to the right, and to the right lowers it down. So left is up, right is down. And then you have a control on the wheel mounter. You have like a little rotary knob that allows you to extend the arm in and out from the main part of the tractor, part of the telehandler. So I replicated that with a joystick. Now, Farming Simulator 17 is a lot better at handling joysticks and controllers. 15 was better than 15 was a lot better than the previous one. 13 was rubbish. It literally didn't recognise anything. You had to mirror and use third-party programs to try and get support. I used to use, I think it was called Pinnacle Game Profiler, is what I used to use to get it to work. G27 Logitech does supply software with the G27 to allow you to do this. I used Pinnacle Game traditionally. I kept using it because I was familiar with it. And you had to do all this horrendous emulation to get it to actually work, and it never worked properly. You could basically only accept one sort of analog input, so you could either have the steering wheel working or the accelerator working, but you can have both. Really weird system. 15 got a lot better, really improved it. allowed you to actually recognise things, but still do recognise most buttons in the controller without a lot of faffing around. Finally, 17 has really improved. It's still not brilliant. I won't lie, it's still not perfect. There's still a lot of faffing around with it as well. I disabled force feedback on the joystick to get it to actually work. If anyone's interested in how to do that, ask me and I'll happily be able to show you how to do that. So there you have it, Farming Simulator 17. I'm going to talk about in more depth the game on our episode 50 of our podcast, which we'll be doing in a week's or so time, or just under a week's time. But for all I can say so far, I'm really enjoying it. It's improved a lot of things from the previous one, particularly the controller support. And I hope this little video is giving you an idea sort of how I use my controllers now and how I like to make my rig work. And I do really recommend, if you're into Sims, it is worth getting a peripheral to go with it. It makes it so much more engaging and involving. Particularly with aircraft sims, joystick is a must for an aircraft sim, at least even if just a basic joystick. Anything that's got streaming. I tell you what, these are always really good for any sort of things that they'll say it's an obvious thing that's a sim. So for example, I use this whole setup to play armour. So all the vehicles in armour I control with the steering wheel. The planes all control the joystick. So when I jump into vehicles, I have to properly steer it. And that makes it just that bit more in-depth. You get a bit more engaged. I strongly recommend you get peripherals for any simulator game. It makes it so much more fun. So I hope you've enjoyed this Ram Rant, seeing how I make my machines work and how I do it. I'm going to do another little video showing you a little bit later on, showing you to hack Farming Simulator to give you a bit more starting money, which we all like. So I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. I've been TheSuffolkRam. See you next time.